Good afternoon, everybody. If I'm the person holding you and the lunch, so I'll try to make it very fast. Will not take a lot of time. The advantage of talking on such a forum, being a customer of any organization, any of the OEM vendors, I've been on both sides. I've worked with OEM vendors also, is that you can give all the gyan without answering any of the technology questions. So life becomes easy once you move to the customer side. Having said that, I have a very small presentation here. Just kept it to 3 slides. The first slide talks about eClerx, the organization for which I work for. What is eClerx all about? The second slide that I have talks about the kind of technology architecture we have, the kind of technology challenges we have. And the third slide I have talks about why we chose Compellent as a storage solution for us. So eClerx was founded way back in 2000. It's a very young firm. The average age of people that work in eClerx is between 30 to 35. We are a KPO. We got listed way back in 2007. The valuation today is close to $500 million. We are a very fast-growing KPO. I've seen revenue growth of close to 30% on a year-on-year basis. The management is, all of them are roughly my age. So you have a senior management which is young, and you have employees which are even younger. So it's a different set of challenges that exists. Everybody wants everything and is knowledgeable on everything that is happening around the world. We have clients in 2 domains. So we have a practice which is on financial services, where we have all the big names that you can think about from the iBanking world, and which are our clients. We have another vertical which we call sales and marketing services, which primarily has a whole lot of clients which are in the technology space. So our clients include the likes of Dell, AMD. So most of the technology firms you can think about across the world, including the retail firms, are our clients on that side. We primarily do knowledge process outsourcing, which is kind of higher end BPO work. And there are not many players in this area. There are a couple of good ones, WNS and other ones being there. So that's the background we have. We have partners. We are a loyal Dell customer. So the entire server stack that we have, the hardware mostly we have, the desktops, the infrastructure, and now even the Vice clients is with part of the Dell portfolio is from Dell. We recently went ahead. Probably one of the first few customers who went ahead with the Dell Compellents to a box. I'll come to the reasons why we chose Dell Compellent. We have all flavors of storage solutions possibly one can think about. And so if you look at our kind of business where we have these clients who outsource work to us. Now there are 2 kinds of environments in which our people work, where we get some information out from the client. We process that information and we send it back to the clients. There are clients also who ask us, we'll not send you the information to you. Okay? You create an infrastructure for us where your guys can log in a secure manner into our environment, work in our environment, complete the processing there, and then this log off from our environment. So we have both kind of infrastructure where information flows to us, we process and send it back. And second, where we log into the client environment, process information, and then kind of come back. Given this flavor, these 2 flavors, and given the fact that we have all possible, top-notch clients across the world, each client had its own stringent requirements. They wanted data segregation, they wanted information segregation as much as possible from any other client. Okay, so we had no other way to go but to look for a solution which was virtualized. The solution virtualized right from the point of accessing the network, which is right from the firewall stage, going back to the server virtualization, down to the storage level virtualization. And so we had no other option but to go in for a complete virtualized stack. As a result of that, we use virtualization on the firewall. We use server virtualization from multiple technology vendors. And we are also a heavy user of the thin client architecture. So we use both flavors, VDI and the XenApp version for thin clients. And we also have virtualization as much as possible on the storage part. We're trying to move from a fixed, server kind of a server compute kind of an environment to a virtualized environment to now getting into a private cloud kind of a scenario where we can provision infrastructure to our internal teams as and when they require. Rather than, so we are moving to a scenario where we make provisioning of all the compute and all the storage to our users as much as possible in the most easy manner, rather than, they having to wait for us to, allocate hardware to them or allocate storage to them. So, as I said, we moved from the traditional desktop to an entire thin client infrastructure. Any new facility that we are coming up with now has a thin client deployment that we are doing. We also are setting up a DR facility. We have a DR facility, but we kind of upgrading it so that this data can seamlessly move from our primary DR to a secondary DR. So that's so that is one of the things that we are picking up and doing it. Plus, we have since we are in the business of processing data for external third-party clients. So we have a huge amount of focus around data security. So be it any data leak prevention, any operation center monitoring kind of tools deployment. So that is our primary infrastructure. So we need to ensure that we have a highly secure environment and all sorts of monitoring level, any kind of data leakage prevention, DLP prevent as well as DLP monitoring is part of what our solution is. Okay, moving on. Why we chose Compellent? So, if you have to ask me what are the couple of key things that when Dell came to us and talked about the Compellent box and what we liked it, the best I would say would be the automated tiering architecture that they have, where you can move the data can move seamlessly between SAS and nearline SAS or SATA, whatever you want to call that. That is one big area that we felt was very was a big win, was a big decision point for us. You normally when you buy a storage, you tend to buy the whether it's a SAS, whether SAS or SATA, based on your own presumptions on what is the workloads that you will put on that. And normally you end up either oversizing it or undersizing it. So you normally don't get the right mix of what workloads you should put on SAS and what workloads you should put on SATA. So that is kind of that was always $1 million problem that we had. And we were looking for a solution that can help us with automated tiering, moving data depending on the usage of that data or recency or whichever way you want to talk about. So that is one big area that talked about that helped us decide on the Compellent. Secondly, we felt that the Dell's story on Compellent was fairly crystal clear, simple. The models were not confusing. Unlike some of the other ones which we have as part of our backyard, where if you ask, you have a particular feature available in the box, they'll say, no, you bought the wrong box. You should have bought this box from us. So we felt that from that perspective, the number of models that Dell has is not that huge a range to confuse you. That was one. Third, I would say, the entire fact that your TCO on the software which comes along with the hardware was a big plus for us. Where tomorrow if you go for an upgrade on the hardware box, the investment you've done in the software that comes with the box stays intact. We've had a couple of experiences in the past where from other storage vendors, when we bought the box, we were sold a huge amount of software that came with the box, but when we tried to upgrade the box, we were told, no, nothing is possible, you need to reinvest into the software part. So I think that was another clincher from the TCO perspective. We anyway have workloads around VMware Citrix. So for us, storage is bread and butter. We cannot think about an environment without storage. And today, we are just a 4,500 odd organization, and we're still sitting on roughly 125 TB of storage, just because it is primarily the nature of work we do. And this is not going to slow down. So the amount of data that comes in or gets processed or gets stored, the kind of complexity a KPO is associated with, storage is the bread and butter for us. So we wanted to make the right decision, and we made an investment with Compellent. We started moving workloads. The first workloads we moved on Compellent were the file servers that we moved. We are now expanding that, moving other workloads around Exchange and a couple of applications that we have internally. So that's our pitch on the Compellent. That's why, I mean, we personally feel it was easier for us to make a decision in favor of Compellent. So that's about it. I don't have many slides, as I told you, so it's easy when you move to the customer side. You just need to give Gyan and not talk a lot about technology. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to take.
Can you explain what you mean by that fluid data architecture?
Which one?
The first benefit.
So if you read about the Compellent story, it is virtualization at a disk level, where you have virtual LANs getting assigned and created, rather than you having physical LANs which get assigned to the servers. Having a virtual LAN, our experience is much easier to manage, because once you when you start a project, when you provision a volume to a server, the IT team will anyway end up oversizing that LAN. Whereas with the virtual LAN, it always becomes easy to provision.
What's not clear to me is how did it specifically help you in your case with your knowledge, process outsourcing?
No, so it is not from a process outsourcing perspective, but our environment is same as any of the other organizations' environment. So we have applications internally which need storage. We have workloads like file server, which anyway needs storage. We have mailing solution which needs storage. Now, when you buy a storage solution, okay, normally you would size the storage based on your own judgment of the volume required for each of these workloads.
Right.
So where you get stuck is if you are unable to size it, or if the growth in those workloads, the data growth in those workloads is not in line with what your assumption was when you did the allocation. So that is where a concept of virtual volumes is helpful for.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay, I think if no questions, I'm done. Thanks.